from nightly separation from thee. I will taste thee and mentally say, sing with me, God, God, God. When boisterous storms of trials shriek, and when worries howl at me, I'll drown their noises loudly chanting, God, God, God. No matter where I go, the spotlight of my mind will ever keep turning on thee. And in the battle din of activity, my silent war cry will be, God, God, God. In my mind weaves dreams, dreaming with threads of memory. On that magic cloth will I emboss, God, God, God. In my mind weaves dreams, dreaming with threads of memory. On that magic cloth will I emboss, God, God, God. Every night in time of deepest sleep, when my peace dreams they call joy, joy, and my joy comes singing evermore, God, God, God. Waking, eating, working, dreaming, sleeping, serving, meditating, chanting, divinely loving. My soul will constantly hum, unheard by any. God, 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 God. Now we'll go into meditation with this chant by Paramahansa Yogananda. Lord, I will be thine always. My Lord, I will be thine always. My Lord, I will be thine always. I may go far, farther than the stars. I may go far, farther than the stars, but I will be thine always. My Lord, I will be thine always. Devotees may come, devotees may go. Devotees may come, devotees may go, but I will be thine always. My Lord, I will be thine always. When I die, look into my eyes. When I die, look into mine eyes. They will mutely say, I will be thine always. My Lord, I will be thine always. I may go far, farther than the stars. I may go far, farther than the stars, but I will be thine always. My Lord, I will be thine always. Devotees may come, devotees may go. Devotees may come, devotees may go, but I will be thine always. My Lord, I will be thine always. When I die, look into my eyes. When I die, look into my eyes. They will mutely say, I have been thine always. My Lord, I will be thine always. My Lord, my Lord, I will be thine always. My Lord, I have been thine always. My Lord, I have been thine always. Invoking the blessing of Babaji, we will chant now the Sanskrit mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And feel the blessing of our Supreme Guru Mahavatar Babaji. As Paramahansa Yogananda said in Autobiography of a Yogi, when you invoke the name of Babaji, you'll receive an instantaneous spiritual blessing. And this mantra, to his form as Krishna, we will do that now. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Let's meditate now.
Now we'll have our reading from Rays of the One Light. This is week 50, Living in the Presence of God. Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it and your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teaching of Paramahansa Yogananda. In the Gospel of St. Matthew, chapter 25, we read of a king. Capitalized for the reverence is to God, who welcomes certain devotees to the divine consciousness, saying, I was an hungered, and you gave me meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. Naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came unto me. The elect asked him when it was that they had served him in these ways. And the king answered, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done unto one of the least of these my brethren, you have done it unto me. To see God as residing in every human being, as indeed he does, is to open oneself to limited opportunities for serving him. Paramahansa Yogananda, in Autobiography of a Yogi, described a saint who lived in this consciousness as the greatest man of humility I ever knew. He described a seemingly chance encounter with this saint. Another day found me walking alone near the Harath railroad station. I stood for a moment by a temple, silently criticizing a small group of men with drum and cymbals who were violently reciting a chant. How undevotedly they use the Lord's divine name in mechanical repetition, I reflected. My gaze was astonished by the rapid approach of Master Mahashaya. Sir, how come you're here? The saint, ignoring my question, answered my thought. Isn't it true, little sir, that the beloved's name sounds sweet from all lips, ignorant and wise? He passed his arm around me affectionately, and I found myself carried on his magic carpet to the merciful presence. If you would see God, watch for him everywhere. If you would hear his voice, listen for it in all sounds and also in their supporting silences. If you would know God, seek his wisdom behind merely human knowledge. The Bhagavad Gita in the 6th chapter states, one who beholds my presence everywhere and all things dwelling equally in me, he never loses sight of me. Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind. Oh, oh, oh.
Good morning, everyone. It's my joy to be with you on this snowy day. I'm at the Ananda Village in Nevada City, California, and we have our first snow of the season. And it really is a time of rejoicing with this drought that's spreading all over the world. And in addition to the drought is this pandemic that is infecting people. And I think I have a slight cold, but the COVID meter said that I have COVID-19. But I'm so honored to be here today. At Mount Washington, there's a wishing well that Master put on the grounds there, and in the cement around the wishing well, he has his little hands and feet pressed in the cement, and the hands and feet of Sister Gyanamata are there, and it says, "I give my hands and feet to the furtherance of self-realization to the world." And really, this is our dharma. This is our duty in whatever way we can. Living in the presence of God is about us serving humanity and lifting the consciousness of humanity through our divine service. We are here for a purpose. And as devotees of Paramahansa Yogananda, we can fulfill our purpose to the highest level by serving God, Christ, and the Masters in whatever little way we can. A friend of mine in Italy wrote me and said, Swami Kriyananda came to her in a superconscious dream. And he asked her, are you ready to serve this work of self-realization and dedicate your home, this place that you bought as a healing retreat center, to the service of the Masters? And she affirmed yes. And that's what the Masters are asking of us. They're testing us. This is something that when we open our hearts to their vibration, they can use us as instruments. Even if we fail in the process. Master says failure's not an issue. The masters want to see how you act. Fear, he said, is the greatest delusion. Fear of loss of life, of property, of a business, or whatever. And I've been reading a little bit from this new book. I want to show you this new book, and it's entitled "My Dear Oliver: A Master's Letters to His Disciples." A master's letters, his disciples' experiences. This is Oliver Yogacharya Oliver Black, who was a part of the Self-Realization Fellowship and founded in Detroit, Michigan, the Self-Realization Church there, and then the Song of the Morning Ranch, which is in Vanderbilt, Michigan, upper state. I had the privilege to go visit there several times, to the community that's developing up there. And Master, in his writings, he talks to him, Oliver, about starting a world colony. And really, this is the vision that Master gave for the new age that we're in. And he said, one day it will spread like wildfire. And as we know from that occasion in Beverly Hills, where there were over 800 people at the garden party there in 1949 in August, the hostess, Mrs. Myers, said, we're so happy for you all to be here today as a fundraising for the Sunday school at the SRF Hollywood Church. And now we'll have a few words from the Master. And Master, he just felt the power of God. Swamiji says he had never in his entire life heard anyone speak so profoundly and with such power, the power of God. And Master said, thousands of youth must go north, south, east, west, to cover the earth with little colonies, to demonstrate that simplicity of living and high thinking will lead to the greatest happiness. And he prophesied that vision of world colonies would spread through the world like wildfire. But we see that the Ananda communities have been dedicated. Your church ultimately is there as a dedication, as a launch pad for these colonies. We tried to start one in Hopkinton, but the time wasn't right. We don't know what the future will bring in our world, but we do know if we're in tune with the masters, they will guide us through the process. And what you all have created there in your little church there in Wakefield, it's so beautiful. And it's my honor to be here today to share in this topic, living in the presence of God. Master wanted us to live 24/7. That's why I sang that song, God, 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 at the beginning. In waking, eating, working, dreaming, sleeping, serving, meditating, divinely loving, that my soul be unheard by any. God, God, God. And this is the way of the saints. The saints, who are the saints? We pray to the saints of all religion. Who are the saints? We are the saints. We are in the process of becoming divine beings like the Master. That's their duty. That's Babaji's duty. That's Yogananda's duty. Larry Mahashai, Sri Yukteswar, Paramahansa Yogananda, Jesus. That's their duty on the other side and in omnipresence to guide us to become one with the universe, like them, to know the mysteries of the heavens and the earth. But ultimately, it's all about a saint is a sinner who never gave up. These were Master's words. And that is the whole process of being. When you see something wrong, know that it's that same thing is wrong within yourself. We are all interconnected like a divine cosmic web. The flower of life is a beautiful image of these interconnected triangles. And all these connections are like a web spreading out around the world. And when we see something wrong, these things are something that we need to take note within ourselves. And it doesn't matter what level it's on. It might be, I know for myself, when I was driving through Ananda and I saw this trash on a piece of paper on the road, and I said, "Oh, there's some trash. What a shame! Why did someone throw that trash out there?" And I caught myself thinking that, and I said, "Well, that's for me to pick up." So I stopped my car and got out and picked up the trash. And this is what we have to do every day, every moment of our lives, to find ways to serve. No one saw what I did except for my consciousness and God. Master would often say, praise can't make me any better. Blame can't make me any worse. I am what I am before my consciousness and God. No one knows what you're thinking except the divine beloved. And when you're thinking something, it's really important for you to offer that up, because God watches. Krishna says, he who watches me always, I watch him always. I never lose sight of him, and he never lose sight of me. I remember when I remembered that phrase from the Gita. It's probably one of the most beautiful phrases from the Bhagavad Gita. And it's something that we should repeat daily, because like an affirmation, it's something that will gradually seep in to our divine memory, that smriti, understanding who and what we really are, because there's no difference between you and God. There really is no, it's just your ego that has separated yourself from your divine beloved. And if we can just begin to step back a little, and when we begin to criticize, become judgmental, when we become spiteful or resentful for what people are saying to us, if we can just be open for a minute, maybe they're right. I remember Swamiji, he was giving a lecture, and afterwards some people sort of denounced him and was saying negative things about him. And Swami just said, well, he would say, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. And he was always taking what anyone said to him, be it positive or negative, as a message from God, as a message from his higher self to make an evaluation of where he stood. And I remember him telling me, he said, if Master had blessed a stone, everyone who is a devotee of Master would be desirous of touching that stone because Paramahansa Yogananda held it and embraced it and touched it. How much more when a master has embraced and touched a human being in the physical, in the flesh. I might have, Swami said, I might have nothing of myself to give, but I have been touched by a divine guru who guides my life on a day-to-day basis. Even if we slip and fall on the journey, we can always lift ourselves back up if we open ourselves in daily meditation, introspection, divine introspection, self-study, swadhyaya, is so important on the spiritual path. And I've tried to analyze myself from the time that I was born, looking back at my childhood. I have, some horrible things in my childhood. Everyone has things that you deal with as kids. I had this thing with I had three older sisters, and they of course had all of their friends over to the house, and I was a bit of a naughty little boy. and I would analyze myself, and I was saying, now why would I catch those bees and try to put them on those girls? That doesn't make any kind of sense. Why would I do that? And I was looking for attention myself. And I remember my sister played the violin. And I used to go in and disturb the violin lessons with her Hungarian violin teacher. I was 5 years old, and I would just go in and start playing on the piano, dung, 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 while they're trying to do a violin lesson. And the violin teacher was very smart. She was very, very sweet Hungarian woman. She came every week to the Black community from Hollywood to give lessons to my sister and others. And she said, why don't you hold the violin? And she said, yeah, I can hold it. And she started teaching me, and I eventually became the first chair violinist in the city orchestra. God is always there wanting us to lift us up if we open our hearts. Everything that we do must be spiritualized to become saints. We're still dealing with old karmic patterns of issues of the past, of incarnations, untold. There's a beautiful, beautiful story that Davy Novak, our spiritual director, her and Jyotish have this blog that they write every week. And they've been writing these books based on their blogs. And it was so beautiful reading this blog recently of Davy. And she was in her teepee. This was in the early days of Ananda. And there was a snowstorm, very much like today. You can see the white in the background out of my window above the altar. But it was very cold. And she was reading the Bible. And she was reading this passage of the living in the presence of God that we read today. And someone knocked on her teepee, and she said, who is it? I'm cold. I'm hungry. I don't have any place to live. Let me in. I know it's warm in there. Davy didn't know what to think, and she began to pray. What should I do? And she had just been reading this passage from the Bible. When you were sick, you came to see me. When I was hungry, you gave me food. When I was thirsty, you gave me drink. And so she opened her teepee up and she looked at this man who obviously was crazed. And she let him into her teepee. She didn't know what was going to happen, but she was in that living presence of God. She was in that bhav, that energy, that vibration. And she felt protected by Master and Swamiji. The man came in and said, "Oh, good, it's warm in here. I'm hungry." He was very rude. She gave him some food. "Now I want something to drink." She gave him some hot tea. And all along she kept praying to Master and to, "What should I do? I don't want to be injured here. I don't want to be assaulted." She didn't know what she was getting herself into, but she set all that aside, all of her prejudices aside, and she gave everything that this man wanted. And then at the very end, he said, "I like it here. I think I'll live here." And she just inwardly cried to Master, "What am I to do, Master? What am I to do?" Then all of a sudden, this man said, "I got to go," and ran out of the teepee. That's the power that we need to exude in our own lives, the power of faith, that our gurus are ever with us, that Babaji, this is so many times, Swami would say, "This is not my work. This is Master's, this is Babaji's work. This is not my work. I'm here just to be a channel to serve." And that's what we need to open up to, that realization. God can work miracles through us when we open ourselves to his living presence that is always there. Recently, a friend of mine gave me a picture of Anandamoy Ma, which is on the top altar here. And there's a wonderful film of Anandamoy Ma, the Joy Permeated Mother, that I recommend that everyone should watch on YouTube. You should watch it today. And it was so moving for me. It's called Ma and Me. And it was, it's about an hour and a half, but it's so inspiring to see how everything that she did from the time that she was born until the time of her passing was for God alone. She was always immersed in that presence. She would have someone chanting the name of God 24 hours around her all the time, not only to remind herself and to stay in that vibration, but to bring that presence out through her to her devotees. And many times she would say, "Okay, my dear ones, it's time to go to sleep. Oh, Ma, let's chant, let's sing to God." No, she said, no, it's time to go to sleep. And then eventually they would convince her to chant. And they would chant all night long. It's something that, when you think about the 8-hour meditation coming up and the Christmas season, this is the time to go deep. This is the time to chant all night long, all day long, 24/7, to draw that living presence of God so it never leaves us. No matter who crosses our path, when we're driving to our work, at our work, with our children, with our husbands, with our wives, with our mothers, our relatives, Everyone is the divine manifestation. And to live in that presence all the time is to become one with the Christ child. That little baby Jesus of Christ consciousness that dwells in your heart right now. And we're in that holy season. It's a blessing for me because I celebrated last Wednesday my 70th birthday. And I was planning to have a commemoration to the Divine Mother in the aspect of Mother Mary in the Immaculate Conception. And last year I was in Assisi, and it was a celebration for the Immaculate Conception on my birthday. And my friend Paolo took me to the Basilica that night after having lunch with him. It was such a moving time that I wanted to show the slides and the commemoration, but Divine Mother didn't want it. People in the community were coming down with COVID. And of course, COVID is nothing more than a bad cold in certain circles. And I had it before, but I had to cancel that event. But I felt such a blessing because after 70 years in this body, I felt Divine Mother's ultimate blessing in my life. She's nearer than the near. She's the dearest of the dear. And cultivating that relationship with God as Mother and understanding our divinity as Christ's, baby Jesus, awakening from the manger of ignorance, defining our true self in the omnipresent Christ that dwells in you. Our journey, folks, is simply living in love, living in joy, living in bliss, chanting the name of God 24/7, all the time, and sharing that vibration with the world. God bless you all.
Ron requested this song. It's pretty much everyone's favorite, I think, at Christmas time, the Christmas Mystery. Please sing along with me there in the church and at home. Certainly the chorus, even if you haven't sung the song before, you'll catch on quickly. Sorry. Long ago there was a little shed where three mighty kings did bow their heads to a gentle babe of low degree, whom men called the Son of Mary. Who tell to me this mystery, how a tiny babe in a manger laid could so many hearts to love persuade, this holy Son of Mary. Shepherds came and knelt in wonder there, seeing him in light beyond compare, and his eyes that told them all love was he, whom men called the Son of Mary. Who tell to me this mystery, how a tiny babe in a manger laid could so many hearts to love persuade, this holy Son of Mary. Wonderful it was at Christmas Day, how from far and near they came to pray, how from far they glimpsed His majesty, whom men called the Son of Mary. Who taught to me this mystery, how a tiny babe in a manger lay, could so many hearts to love persuade, this holy Son of Mary. Could it be that in that little one Spirit's universal love did shine? If it's true He lives in you and me, whom men call the Son of Mary, who taught to me this mystery, how a tiny babe in a manger lay, could so many hearts to love persuade, this hope